Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Key at Sim Entertainment, coming to you from the Washington, D.C. metro area from my humble house, and I'm back with another tutorial for you lovelies out there in the world of Photoshop and Lightroom and everything else that's beautiful. I'm gonna get right into it, I promise. In the last video that you saw, I was talking about the pieces of the puzzle. And see, what the pieces of the puzzle are all the tiny little bit of fragments that make the bigger picture. And today, I'm going to proceed with one of those. It's gonna be a really, really quick video, I promise. I cross my heart. Yeah, but let's go. I'm gonna talk about the eyes. Okay, there's a few things that you should know about eyes before I get into it. Is you have three major components of the eye. You have the whites of the eye, right? I'll zoom into that. Boom, this area right up in here, the whites. And then you have the edges of the eye, the dark part, right? Whatever they call that beautiful little thing. And then you have the inside of it, all right? And so those are the three major components of the inner eye, because that's what I'm focusing on right now. There are some things in here that I did do, and I will click them on just so that you can see it. Okay, just give me 1 second. I know it's in here somewhere, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's called eyelashes. You see that? I added eyelashes, and that's something I'm gonna talk about in another video, okay? But I'm not gonna talk about that right now. And also you can probably see that it got a little blurry because I added sharpening later. Okay, now really, really quick, simple technique to get some good eyes. I'm gonna show you the before. That's the before. It's not that much of a difference, right? Yeah, well, if you really wanna do a good job on your eyes, you wanna whiten the whites. And you can do that using a couple tools, and I'll do it right here on the spot. One of those tools that I use is creating an adjustment layer of brightness. You can click that, and that's going to bring up this little dialog box or whatever, and you can change the brightness and the contrast. I generally bump up the brightness based on the image, and I'll go up to about 20 to 22, okay? And what I'll do is hold Control and I, and what that's going to do is it's going to hide that mask that I just applied. And then I take my brush and paint white on the areas that I want brightened. Okay? And that's how you whiten the whites. Now another thing you can do is create a layer, a clone stamp layer, and I'll show that right now. Okay? Because as you can see, there are veins there. You can create a new layer, Control Shift N, that'll create a new layer. Select your clone stamp tool, and up here where it says sample and current layer, you want to do current layer and below. And then you get like a nice low opacity, like 19% or something like that, right? And you come in here, you can stamp that out. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm making that white. My apologies right there for being a baddie. You can make all these areas white just to clean it up even more, okay? So we cleaned it up a little bit more before, right there, after, okay? And then we added some brightness to it, before, after. And now the next part we want to do are the inner parts of the eye. Right up in here. I'm using a curves adjustment, okay? So I'm gonna remove the previous one that I had and add a new one. And we're gonna come in here, and what we wanna do is pay attention to the range of colors and stuff like that. The middle of this curve is gonna control the mid-tones, mostly, okay, overall. And the high point right here and the low point are gonna control the black areas. So I can bring up my brightness overall right here, and if I want to really want to punch the contrast, I come down here in the lower and create another point and pull that down, and that's going to create that big bold contrast that we see there. And we do the same thing. We do Control I and we hide it, and then we get our white brush and we come in here and we paint it just like that. You paint white. And then what we also want to do, if we want to create an added effect, since this is a very, very good contact lens, it almost looked natural almost. I wouldn't do it on this image. I didn't have to really. But what I would do on certain eyes, I would create another curves adjustment layer and select multiply. Okay, select the layer to multiply. I would hide that, Control I, and then I would paint white on it. And this will darken the edges. But what I do is I paint the entire thing, right? I paint the entire thing. And then I hit X. And what X does is it inverses my color. And since I had white and black selected, I'm going to now be able to paint with black. And what I would do is just click in the center a few times. And then make it smaller, and then click in there a few more times. And now I have this dark circle around, creating more contrast, more focus on the center of the eye, just like that. And so those are generally the 3 things you want to do when creating focus on the eye or just improving the eye in general. And yeah, so there you go, guys. You have some techniques on how to improve eyes and whatnot. It's a quick rush job. I can show you what I did on her, just like that, without whitening the whites. And that's just what I needed for this image. I just used a curves adjustment and just created some contrast. I can actually show you the adjustments that I did right here, these 2 points, to get that effect. And yeah, so hopefully you guys can take this information and apply it to the images out there. And like I said, I hope this video wasn't too long, but like my junk, comment, subscribe, share, holla at your boy. I'll see you in the next one. Later.